Hello and welcome to this informational video about our PMO Analytics and Automation course. Now, if you are interested in this course, I strongly suggest that you watch this whole video, look at this page, and then get in touch with us, and then we can have a discussion about whether this course is a really good fit for you. Okay, let's get into it. So, let's start off with a little bit about me. I don't want to bore you too much, but it's good to know who I am and why you might want to listen to me. So I'm a Londoner and I've worked in the world of data and project management for probably about 2 decades now. I've worked in some of the biggest companies, primarily as a contractor, and I've worked in some very high value, high profile programs and projects. Now, I started out as an analyst that in my early career. I went into PMO eventually, then I became a head of PMO much more recently, and I'm also a dad to 3 kids, so that's probably my favorite part. And I learned PMO project management data all in the trenches, no theory, nothing like that. I definitely earned my stripes on working on many programs and projects. So let's talk about the key functions of a PMO. Okay, because that will set the stage for this whole training, this course, and what I want to, the ideas I want to convey to you. So, key functions of a PMO broadly are planning, reporting, financials, risks and issues, resource management, and governance. Okay, so hopefully you are watching this, you are familiar to a degree with a PMO, with project management, and you hopefully have worked in these areas as well as maybe a project support or a project coordinator or even a PMO, junior PMO, something like that. So you broadly know what these different functions are. Now, the reason I've got governance in a lighter color is one thing that common to all of the other ones is, and if I click my PowerPoint, it's PMO data. Okay, so PMO data is underlying all of these components, all of these functions, less so in the governance. The governance is more about the setup of the program, how it is structured, who are the key players, what are the meetings, and all those really important things. But everything else is underpinned by data. So either it drives data or it is driven by data, and that is very important thing to consider when we go into the next slide, which is why do we need analytics and automation skills to succeed in PMO? Well, you don't have to have those skills, but if you have those skills, you're going to excel tremendously at all of this stuff, which is a massive amount of work that a PMO has to do. So analytics will allow us to become more data driven, and our stakeholders that way can be a lot more informed. They have a lot more precise information about what we're measuring in the PMO, and therefore they can make good decisions and have good clarity that they can transfer that clarity to the people who are working in the program. And it just allows them to manage things. Now, what about automation? Now, automation can allow us, it's more about us as PMO people. It allows us to be significantly more productive and more efficient, and we can just get way more done in less time. So we can spend time on qualitative stuff. So if we can get our reports and our financials and our resource management and all those good things, if we can get them done in a fraction of the time, it means we can actually look into them, investigate into them, and truly add value to them. Now, the other thing that we can do if we can automate, frankly, is that we can mitigate the potential need for long hours, which can definitely crop up in the world of PMO. I can tell you that for sure. So let's talk about PMO work. Now, PMO work is increasing, and what I'll do, I'm going to just bring in my little Chrome tab here, and here is an article a few years ago from the PMI, the Project Management Institute, and what they said was that the global economy by 2030 needs 25 million new project managers. Now, that means that 2.3 million people will need to enter PMO every year just to keep up with the demand. That's roughly, this was a few years ago. So this was a 10-year projection, and that is based on, the GDP and all kinds of metrics that were involved in that calculation. I don't want to get into that. But the point is that PMO work is going to increase, because if we need more project managers, that means we have a lot more projects going on. We'll have a lot more programs going on. Therefore, we need PMOs who are going to come on board to manage that. And then we are in 2024, and with more project work, we live in a data-driven world, a data-rich world. We're going to have lots of data that we need to handle. And so that is a big reason for having analytics skills. Now, let's bring the tab back and go to another one. So look at this one. This is a Google Trends graph that I've just put together for project analytics. Now, project analytics, look at this, steady, rising, and it jumps up massively. And here we are I'm recording this video in Feb 2024, and it's pretty much at an all-time high. Again, it is because we are producing so much data in the space of projects that we need ways, and more importantly, people to be able to navigate through that and help us to understand that and actually draw some insights. And here's another Google trend for the term data analyst. Look at this, same thing, steady and rises, and it's at a peak, and frankly, it's going to keep going. Why? Because data is rising. And now, yes, this is a broad term, data analyst, but what's happening is, and I can tell you this from my experience, because in the PMO world, there is a glaring lack of people with good analytics skills. It is causing us to recruit from outside of the PMO world. So these data analysts that we are recruiting, we're bringing them in, and they don't know much about PMO. But we can roughly help them to navigate through this and get them to draw insights and so forth. But I can tell you this, and this is actually how I came into the world of PMO. I was doing data analysis, and then eventually someone from a PMO said, hey, can you help me with this? And I did that. And then I loved it. I love project management. I love data. And then that was a perfect marriage for me, career marriage for me. But still in 2024, there is a massive gap in the market for people with these skills. And let me just prove my point here. So I'm going to go to Indeed, right? This is UK Indeed, and I'll type in, say, let's type in PMO. Okay, so if I type in PMO right now, there's about 880 jobs in the UK for PMOs. And if I go to the pay, right, look at this, 35, and it goes up to about 65,000. Now, if I type in and analytics, right, what will that do? Let's do this. So it's less jobs, but the top end pay has slightly increased. Okay, now, if I type in automation or automate, let's type that in. And look at this. Let's see if I'm correct. Look at this. The top end pay has massively increased. You've got things in the 6 figures. And here's the thing. Now, you might think, oh, well, that there's only a few jobs that in PMO that require automation and analytics. No, that's not the case, because a lot of what we're doing, because there's a lack of people in PMO with those skills, we're recruiting from outside. So we're recruiting data analysts and business intelligence people. But if you have those skills, what that allows you to do is to go in for those roles at maybe 60K or 70K and say, hey, I can do this. But not only that, I have got strong analytics and strong automation. And what will typically happen is that those are so sought after that it will allow you to negotiate go into a higher salary range than that role is being offered. Because what they will do is they would go back and they would consider the value prospect that you are offering if you have these skills, and they would think, well, we're going to get massive benefits from this. So what is this worth to us? And it's going to be worth 10, 20, 30, maybe even 50K extra to them if they can find that in their budget, because executives know the value of being in a position where they can have data-driven insights given to them. That is huge. That is instrumental, and they will find that budget. Okay, so let's get back to this, right? So PMO work is increasing, project data is increasing, which I just talked about. Now, part of this is, as I said, there's lots more project managers required, there's lots more projects and change work, right? Because look at the things on our horizon. AI, big, right? AI is going to be, and we'll come to AI separately in another way, but there'll be lots more AI being implemented in organizations. Therefore, that's change, and we need project people and programs to implement that eventually. We're going to have increased regulation. We already do, but it never ends. Regulation is just a fact of life. We'll just get more and more of it. payment evolution. Now, payments, this is in obviously finance spaces and tech spaces. Payments have been evolving for the last 10 years, but we're continuing to do that. And, you know, part of that is more convenience with payment, more technical interactivity with companies that need to make payments and banks and so forth, and then cyber security reasons for payment. And then overall, a big overarching reason is just digital transformation. Digital transformation has been going on for a while, and it's just never going to end, because as soon as we've implemented something, technology has shifted, and we now need to start thinking about implementing that. And then by the time we've done that, it's going to change and evolve and so forth. So change is just going to keep coming. It's just going to keep growing, and therefore PMO is going to keep growing. Okay. Let's dive into the details of the course. Now, the video that you are watching is on the page which contains all the details. So just scroll down through the page and take your time, and you can learn all about the course. But to give you an overview, the training is a 12-week program, which consists of self-paced content modules, and you go through the content in the order as it is intended, and every week you will have a series of exercises to do, and once you do them, you submit them, and we will give you video-based feedback on the assignments. Now, in addition to that, you will meet 1 to 2 times a week with a mentor. Now, with the mentor, you can go through the material and cover bits that you need a bit more solidifying on, or you can actually work on things that you are currently tackling in your job. So, for example, you might be asked, you might be building a report, you might be currently working on something which is taking a long time, and it's very manual process, and you can work with your mentor to look to automate those things. So not only that, you will, during the course of the program, if you are self-funded and your goal is to come out and get a higher paying role, then you will be working with a career coach as well throughout that. Now, the core capabilities that you will learn are here, and you can go through these, but ultimately it really is about setting up and building and managing a data-driven PMO. So it's all about the analytics and the automation. So here is how the course breaks down. So in the first 3 weeks, we are focused on Excel. Now, you might be okay at Excel or even good at Excel, but what we want to do is to make you amazing at Excel. And the way that we do that in 3 weeks is by eliminating a lot of what Excel has to offer. Believe it or not, a lot of it is just a distraction, and it's not very useful to us. So we focus on just a few areas of Excel specific to PMOs, and we get really good at those areas. Then we spend a couple of weeks, weeks 4 and 5, really getting good at managing our data, cleaning our data and maintaining it. Then week 6 onwards, every week we are looking at a specific PMO function, and then in each of those functions we're building our analytics and our automation capabilities. So in week 6 is status reporting. So all of the different kinds of status reporting that will happen, we are going to be tackling that. Then in week 7 we're looking at steering pack production. So for the big steering meetings that happen typically once a month, or even other key meetings, we'll be learning how to tackle those in a very effective manner. And that's where you will learn PowerPoint automation. In week 8, we'll be doing planning analytics. So we're looking at Microsoft project or non-Microsoft project approaches to planning, and then what kind of information do we want to extract from that, which gives value. Then we're looking at finance and RAID, as in risks and issues primarily. We then look at resource management. This is how we can very logically manage all of our resources. Then we look at the change control process. Now, this isn't going to be prevalent in every PMO that you're in, but often if it's big enough, you will have change control, and we'll be teaching you how you can systemize this, track it, and manage it very effectively. Then lastly, we end with Power BI. Now, why do we end with this? Well, the reason we end with it is Power BI is an incredible tool. It's one of my all-time favorite tools, no doubt about it. However, in the world of PMO, it has pros and cons. And so what we will do is we will get you good at Power BI, and we will get you to a point where you can make some really good shareable reports, and we'll teach you how to deploy them, how to build them, and so forth. However, most of the time it can, you don't need it, and we will tell you when you need it and when you don't need it. But that is going to be the 12 weeks on the training. And after those 12 weeks, once you're on the job, we encourage you to get in touch with us, and we can help you out where you need it. We can set you in the right direction and so forth. Now, as I mentioned, there will be some career coaching as well, so that will work out when is best to do that. Usually we tend to start that in week 4 onwards, but it varies from person to person and what your individual goals are. Everything is slightly tailor-made and custom to you. Now, I don't want to spend much time on the actual details of the content, but I thought it would be useful to show you the kind of thing that you will learn when it comes to automation. Now, this is an example of something that I built previously in a program that I was on. It's a one-page, it's the front page of a steering pack. And what we're trying to do here is we're automatically going to update it. So normally this would be a lot of work to update, but what we're going to do is we've got some milestone data, and what we'll do is we want it to update this region here, which is our milestone chart. So we build some VBA coding. Now, this is the VBA coding that sits behind it. Now, it might look a bit intimidating to you, but we will teach it to you so you won't be intimidating. And then you simply run that. And what the automation does is, as you can see, it just automatically builds out this brand new chart. If you weren't using this bit of coding, it would take you a lot longer, but to do it, it might take you half an hour. It might take you an hour if you haven't got the data managed effectively, and if you have to spend time tweaking it and so forth. But as you can see, once you've set everything up, it can be done in a matter of seconds. So that's the kind of productivity that we will be teaching you. Now, I want to talk a bit about how I moved forward and progressed my career in PMO, and from project analyst, more kind of junior role, to ultimately to head of PMO. And the goal is just to show you what's possible and what's possible for you. I promise you, when I tell you, there's nothing special about me. I'm not in any way, shape, or form some kind of superhuman or anything like that. But I've managed to, progress in my career far beyond what a lot of people do. And it's just because, I took the time to learn some skills, and I had some good mentors along the way. Now, the first thing was I became a trusted advisor to executives because I had strong analytics skills. They were coming to me for data and information and insights. And when execs come to you, good things will eventually follow. Now, secondly, I freed up time with automation skills and system, and that freed up time allowed me to add value in a variety of different ways. And I managed to learn different skills like delivery, as in like project management, and just management, people management. And ultimately that's the combination of things that helped me to keep climbing in my career. Now, I wanted to emphasize this point, is that what we're teaching here, it's very hard you can't really learn this elsewhere, in person, online. There's just not very many resources out there for this. I've spent almost 2 decades learning this kind of stuff, partly by trial and error, partly by people that I've worked with along the way. Now, I want to tell you about the career path potential. So, I'm not quite sure where you might be right now in your career in PMO and project management, but let's say, the kind of people that we honestly recommend, it can be any people from any of this bracket, like more junior to mid-level to more senior. Anyone can benefit from this course if you don't have these skills, but the people who will benefit massively are going to be people who are kind of a bit lower down and probably at the mid-level, because there's just more room for growth. And so we're talking about project support officers, project admin, and then you can move to PMO roles, portfolio analyst, and then go to senior role, senior PMO, portfolio manager. And then in order to get to this, there's, more things involved than just having data analytics and automation skills. But data analytics and automation can definitely propel you from, if you're down here, it can propel you to up here. There's no doubt about that. I don't have any doubt about that. And these skills are going to be more and more relevant and required as we progress. Now, a couple of recent student successes. FIs secured a PMO analyst contract role, and we have Ade from Scotland who secured a project analyst role upon doing this training. Here's another testimonial from a previous student who did the training and managed to increase his income by 92% in 2 years. And I haven't been in touch with this student for a while, but the last I saw, he had progressed even further in his PMO career. Now, I want to point out that we are a UK accredited company. So that means that we are accredited by the CPD, the Continued Professional Development Organization, which looks at any educational institutions and it assesses their training. So our training has been assessed and it's been deemed as a robust and credible training for for continued professional development. And so you will get this certificate at the end of this training that you can show to employers, put on your LinkedIn profile and so forth. Now, just to point out, we have monthly cohorts and we don't like to take on too many people at once. We really prefer high quality. It's important for us to make sure that you have really good outcomes and your skills are developed. Our personal goal as a company is to be the best training provider for PMOs in terms of analytics and automation. And our goal is to, with that, it's because our goal is to produce the best PMOs in the world. It's a big goal, but we want to do it. We want to undertake that goal. And so when you do train with us, you are training with people who are aspiring to make you amongst the very best PMOs in the world. And I have no doubt that if you go through this training, that can absolutely be you. So look, don't go about it alone. All of the top people in the world have mentors, coaches, advisors, and so forth. And there's no reason for you to take a long route and work out other ways that you can learn these skills. Yes, there is a bit of an investment involved, but you will get that investment returned many times over. You will get it back, hopefully, in your first job. And then after that, it's just going to be every job. You'll be earning higher and higher and higher, certainly more than what you could have had you not done those. So there is a compound effect of investing in this training. So get in touch with us, apply below, read through the page, watch this video as many times as you wish, and we look forward to talking to you. Now, a little bit of frequently asked questions. How much time per week will I need? Honestly, I would give it 5 to 10 hours per week. There's a certain amount of time that you will need to just do the material, and then there's a certain amount of time that you will need to do the exercises. And it can be a little bit more. If we feed back to you and some things need a bit more uplifting, then it might be required for you to go through again for your own abilities. Now, how much does it cost? Well, you can see below we have got the cost there, and you can discuss this. We do have options for payments. You can discuss it with the enrollment advisor. What if I have no experience? Well, if you don't have any technical experience, like you don't have strong data skills or analytics skills, no problem. That's fine. We will take you from absolute beginner. Now, career-wise, it's a different thing. We really would prefer if you have some kind of experience and ideally even now are currently working in the field, or maybe you've had a bit of time out for any number of reasons, but you definitely have previous experience. You've worked as in project support, project coordination, you junior PMO, you might have even been a project manager or a junior project manager. It probably makes sense for you to go and get like a project analyst type of job or a project support or a project coordinator, then come to us. Are we an accredited training provider? Yes, we are CPD accredited. Will this work in whatever country? Yeah, it works in every country. You know, there's growth in PMOs everywhere. PMOs do the same thing. We are the central point of contact for any program and major project that goes on, and so the way we manage it is going to be the same. Can my company pay for the training? Absolutely. We thoroughly recommend it. If you have the conversation with us, and if you can get the funding from your company, that's fantastic. So with that said, apply below, and we look forward to talking to you about this.